In Massachusetts, catastrophic flooding hit the town of Leominster this week. A state of emergency was declared in the city about 40 miles northwest of Boston. Up to 11 inches of rain fell over the past 2 days, and it caused rivers to overflow, flooded homes, washed out roads, and forced hundreds of evacuations. Residents living near an old dam were told to get out over concern that it could give way. More rain is forecast for today and over the weekend. So joining us now is the mayor of Leominster, Dean Mazzarella. Mayor Mazzarella, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning. I know you were probably exhausted, so I'm glad that you are here with us. I got to tell you, I saw the coverage of this flooding the other day with the sound down on the TV, so I didn't know where it was happening. I couldn't believe it
Right.
was happening in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
You are not used to this kind of weather.
If we get an inch or two in over 3 days, that's like a big storm for us,
Yeah.
and to get 9 to 11 inches in a matter of 4 hours is unthinkable. I mean, you couldn't even practice for this.
Yeah, well, right. I mean, I was going to ask you about preparations, but why would you prepare for something that is so unlikely to happen? You've been out and around. What sort of damage
Yes.
have you been seeing in your town?
The best way I can explain it is, obviously, the people affected, people lost things. Everyone's fine, no one was injured or hurt, but the reality is people lost a lot of things. People, same as us, we had things in places that we never thought, the water levels would ever get to that point, and they did. So people lost, they lost things in their basements or storage areas, or some of the water came up over 8 feet. So
Mm.
a lot of things were destroyed that, in many cases, can't be replaced. But safety is paramount. Just these large, as you've been showing this morning, these large, unthinkable sinkholes you never see in Massachusetts or anywhere in New England. And they're just massive. And then the other night, I mean, there was no way you could sleep. We saw firsthand, we saw the dams, and we know how much water those reservoirs hold. And to
Mm.
think that one could be let loose, we were within 8 to 10 feet of having those dams let loose. That's awful scary. And so we've got some of the roads open today. We've got our shelters empty, so we got people returned. We have a 7-story elderly high rise that we have a generator running right now. They're going to replace the panels today and tomorrow. We should have electricity pretty soon, but
Mhm.
it's until people actually come out here. Governor was here yesterday, and a couple of places we brought her. I think even she was shocked to see
Yeah.
how, not a little sinkhole that you think of. And they were still towing cars out as of 1 o'clock this morning out of places that were flooded or people went off the road. Or we had dumpsters. Just to give you an illustration, some color here. We had dumpsters, full scale storage units and dumpsters flowing down the river.
Well, we just showed a video, and I'm pretty sure that's what I saw, but it took me a
Yeah.
while for my brain to sort of
Yes.
make the connection that that's a heavy dumpster that is
Yes. It's a
floating
big.
down the road.
Yes, it's floating down. The water went over many of our bridges. People were stuck on the highway for hours. They had to back people and turn them around. We've had incredible cooperation with not only our local employees in public safety, but state employees
Yeah.
and just all the state police, the
So
um, y- y- Massachusetts Emergency Management. Everybody has just jumped in. Now you see some cars over there. They
yeah,
were in the parking lot of a Cadillac dealership, Duran Baker car dealership.
now they're in a
Those
hole.
Now they're in a hole, and
So
it's going to take a crane to get them out of there.
let me ask you something, Mayor.
Yes,
I saw your press briefing where you talked about that the one particular dam you were concerned about was sort of
yes,
slated to be rebuilt. I want to ask you about the infrastructure in your town, and like I know this was an unexpected amount of
yes.
rain, but how do you feel about how the infrastructure managed or didn't manage, and what you're going to need in the future to make sure something like this doesn't happen again?
One of the things we did is separate our stormwater from our sewer system, and that's to stop any discharge from going into the big storms like this to just going into rivers. And naturally, that's a huge problem. We're 100%. We've separated our system. Had we not yesterday, this would have, and had we not done that over the last 30 years, we would really be in trouble. But our system is a good system. It just, you got to understand, we get an inch or two over, a couple. We're talking 11 inches of rain in 4 to 4.5 hours. There
Yeah.
is no system possible that could absorb that. And the rivers were pretty lower than normal at this particular time of the year, and it's a good thing because we
Mm.
had capacity. But it's just we looked at the weather. And we were hoping, usually the storms go through and after an hour or so, that's it. This storm stayed right over us and wouldn't move.
Well, there's more rain in the forecast, unfortunately for you guys, Mayor
Yes.
Mazzarella, but I know you guys are going to build back stronger. Thank you so much.
I did find my lucky penny this morning, so
Oh, that's
that's
a
got to
good
be
sign.
that's got to be a good sign.
That's a great sign. Thank you so much.
Sure.